Hello Bambu Lab peeps. Today we are going to go into Maker Lab and use the Make My Nameplate tool to make a 3D nameplate like this. Let's get started. I am here in Maker Lab and today we are going to make a 3D nameplate together using Bambu Lab, Maker World, Maker Lab, Parametric Model Maker. In order to enter Maker Lab, simply go to makerworld.com and click right here on Maker Lab. This will bring up the screen we are looking at right now, and you are going to look here under Model Tools and click into Parametric Model Maker by clicking on the Start button. There are other options inside this tool, but for today we are simply going to go over how to make a super cool 3D nameplate by clicking on this right here. It says Nameplate. Click on that and read this note right here, then click Continue. Because we are effectively working with a template, it will start us with keep calm and carry on. However, no worries, you are going to customize this however you'd like. Here on the left is your customization screen, and to the left of that is the actual code. If you'd like, you can go ahead and press this left arrow to close the code and get all that confusing stuff off your screen. If you are somebody who likes to use things at a more advanced level, you may want to keep this open and learn how to make changes right here within the code to affect this model. We won't be doing that today. Let's have a look at our customization options. There are quite a few. We are going to focus on the basic, most important ones today. Once you have successfully created your first 3D name tag, you can go in and tinker to learn more about some of the more complex options to customize it even further. The first thing we're going to want to do, of course, is type in what we want the sign to say. Mine is going to say 3D Rundown. Looking here on the left, leave this setting as it is and move down to text string 1 and text string 2. Text string 1 will be the top line. Text string 2 will be the bottom line. So I'm going to type 3D Rundown. Keeping in mind, the changes you make are not made in real time. In theory, as you become more advanced in this tool, you can make multiple changes at once, and then you will generate a new model applying all those changes at one time. For now, go ahead and press generate after we make changes. I typed in 3D Rundown and I'm going to click generate right here, and you will see it creates a new model called 3D Rundown. While they do encourage using 2 lines, you can actually use a 3rd line. It's blank by default and it's called text string 3. Let's type something into that right now. 3D Rundown is the bestest. Generate. And there you go. You can see the entire model had to be made bigger. While they say in the description, typically not used, I see no reason why you can't go ahead and use this 3rd line. I think it actually looks pretty cool. For now, we will delete it and go with the 2 line. That, for me, will say 3D Rundown. Below text string 3, this field, hidden text, will add lettering underneath the model. This is something that 3D model creators tend to do in order to brand their work. For example, I can type in Greg Adventure and press generate. You will see underneath the model, Greg Adventure is now engraved into the base of the model. Moving along, you will see something called text align. This is very similar to text align in a word processor, where you can align your text left, center, or right. This rundown is going to take up the whole line, so it's not really going to move. But I do happen to have a small 3D above that line that will definitely be affected. So we can click center, and you will see 3D move to the center, and we can click right, and you will see 3D move to the right. I like the orientation the way it was. I'm going to stick to left. You might notice you have a crown, at least at the time of this recording. You will see the default is this crown. However, You can remove this crown or replace it with a different symbol or emoji, and there are two ways to do it. One is using this pull-down menu, which offers you a huge variety of emojis, logos, and symbols. It does offer you some social media icons. Currently, it only shows me Instagram and YouTube. Let's go ahead and add YouTube. I'm going to click on YouTube and click Generate. You will see it added the YouTube icon to the left of my name tag. However, you can add your own emoji by clicking Special Emoji Left and inserting the emoji of your choice into that field. On Windows, I will press the Window key and the period, and it will bring up GIFs and emojis. I don't think we can print GIFs on our name tag, so go ahead and click on the smiley face, and you can pick your emoji from here. For example, I can click the winking tongue out emoji and press Generate. Next up is your special right character. Yes, even though it defaulted with only a left icon, you can add one to the right side of your name tag as well. Let's go ahead and do that. You can use the pull-down menu or insert your own special emoji. However, it's worth noting, inserting your own special emoji will not work unless you add a special character first. To demonstrate this, I just added the laughing emoji and click Generate. You'll see nothing appeared. However, if I click the cake emoji first, with the laugh emoji overriding the cake emoji and press Generate, the laughing emoji appears, and now I have the tongue out and the laughing emoji both on my signs. However, at the current time, I have not found a way to remove one of these icons once added. You will notice in the pull-down menu, there is no option for none. However, if you are working in the code, you can remove it under special character right or left. It's worth noting, making changes here does not make changes to the code. If you edit this, all of this will return to default. You need to work fully with the code or the customize menu. You'll see here it still has the text string as keep calm, carry on. If I make a change in the code here and press Generate, all of this will revert to the defaults shown in here. This is why for now we are going to stay in the customize menu. This may change in the future, or maybe I'm missing something, but this is how I see it working at the time of this video. Closing code and going back to here. I am going to start over to remove the Instagram logo. Moving along, find yourself the field called direction. This is an interesting one. You will see text top is highest. That means it'll print like this because the top of the text is the highest. In other words, right side up. Let's say you want to print this upside down. Why would you want to print this upside down? It really depends on how you plan to mount this. Taking into account the name tag is meant to sit on this bottom surface. You can sit it on a desk, printer, or other top side surface, and it'll be readable like this. However, let's say you stuck it on your refrigerator. It would be facing down like this or upside down like this. Let's say you want to mount this underneath something, such as a countertop, desk, or shelf. The app doesn't allow me to rotate it fully that way, but you can see the wording would be upside down. So we will choose text bottom is highest. In other words, upside down. Now you'll see that the bottom text is highest. With all this upside down, you can mount this front side of a desk, counter, shelf, or even on a wall, and the text would be readable. However, it would be pointing up. With this model upside down, you could take this name tag and attach it underneath a shelf, desk, countertop, etc., and the words would face forward and be readable. So there does appear to be use for both text bottom is highest and text top is highest. However, one thing worth noting is when using the upside down mode, text bottom is highest, magnets are not working correctly. You can see now the model is flush to the bed and will print correctly. However, If you add a magnet, you will notice it adds the magnet below the model so that the whole model is raised off the bed and will fail. So until there is a fix for this, go ahead and print your upside down models. Text bottom is highest without magnets. You will then see it lowers down to the bed and will print correctly. Moving on to the next field, base type. This one's pretty important. You'll have several options. Your best option is to go ahead and test them. You'll see it defaults to round. I do think for most cases, this is a good way to go. Moving on to minimal straight and pressing generate, you will see it makes a straight lined base using minimal material to kind of hug the outline of your model. If you move on to pedestal, you will see it kind of does the opposite and creates a full flat surface for the 3D model to sit on. The other options are similar, such as chamfered rectangle, rectangle, and rounded rectangle. Perhaps depending on your text, these different base types have more effect. I'm finding most of them have very little effect, and it's most worth looking at round or minimal straight. I'm going to go with round. Continue to scroll down, you will notice something called hidden text size. Oddly, this is the size for the hidden text you added all the way up here. Let's say you want that font to be a little bigger. Notice how small it is. Simply go to hidden text size and increase this by however much you'd like to try. I'm going to press 6 and generate. You'll see my hidden text size is now bigger. Let's go ahead with 5. I do like that, and I'm going to leave it at 5. Here's another important one, magnet type. This is if you want the model to have a hole in it in order for you to glue in a magnet. This is a pretty cool idea if you're going to put this on a magnetic surface. I will go ahead and add this hole, so I have that option. You can choose 10 by 1, 8 by 3, 5 by 2 C5, 8 by 1 C7, all kinds of options. They can be a little confusing. A more typical magnet would be a cylinder that's 8 by 3. This is millimeters, so an 8 by 3 cylinder would look like this. It's a hole. It is 8 millimeters across and 3 millimeters high. And this will fit an 8 by 3 millimeter round magnet. If you're curious what the other sizes look like, such as the 10 by 1 cube, simply press 10 by 1 cube and click generate. You've now got a cube that's 10 millimeters across and 1 millimeter high. While this does look like the ideal magnet because it's only 1 millimeter tall rather than the 3 millimeter tall round magnet, I've had less luck finding these on Amazon, and the 8 by 3 magnet is quite common, affordable, and easy to find. The next two fields allow you to add extra space for the magnet to make it tighter to press fit or looser to glue in. Let's leave them as default for now. You may make adjustments based on your own test prints. The following field is magnet closing layer. You can add a 0.2 closing layer to this model, and it will allow you to pause the print after that layer, add the magnet, and then continue printing, and you'll see that the bottom of that magnet is enclosed in the print. I don't see a whole lot of benefit to this. It might be easiest just to leave it as is and let the bottom surface of the magnet be flush with the model. Once you are happy with this model, go ahead and press download. You have a choice between a 3MF and an STL. I would go ahead and download both. We'll name this 3DR nameplate. I will press download again and click download STL, which I'll also name 3DR nameplate. It's okay for these models to have the same file name because their extension is different. One is a 3MF, one is an STL. Having the same file name will help us match those together. Let's say we want the surface of this name tag to be a different color. In other words, we don't want this to be all white or all black or all gray or whatever color you're printing. We want the model to be one color and the surface of the lettering and the icons to be another. Look right here where it says additional settings and press the arrow. This arrow points down when it's closed, up when it's open. So make that arrow point up by clicking on it, and you will now be able to scroll down. Look for this field right here, Part to Generate. You will notice it's default to sweeping text. That is this. This model is the sweeping text. However, say you want to print just the face, so you can do it in a different color. Click the pull-down menu and look at this option, Text Caps. Text Caps is exactly what you think it is. Click on that and press Generate. You will see it has created caps for your icon and your text. You can now print these in a different color and then attach them to your nameplate. You may also adjust the thickness of these text caps. You'll see right here it's defaulted to 1 millimeter. You can go ahead and change it to 2 millimeter, and you'll see you now have 2 millimeter text caps. I will then change the cap thickness back to 1, press Generate, and download that 1 millimeter nameplate STL. Of course, if you'd like to have those project settings in your file, you can go ahead and download the 3MF of that same file as well. The reason you don't really need this text cap in 3MF is because you are going to open the project using the sweeping text. With that project open, you will then import the caps onto a separate bed, and the project settings from the sweeping text would be applied to the text caps. Speaking of project, let's go ahead and open these files in Bambu Studio to prepare them for printing. Here I am in Bambu Studio. Go ahead and drag your project onto the plate. Mine is 3dr.nameplate. Before we get started, go ahead and choose the correct printer. I will be working in a Bambu Lab P1S with a 0.4 nozzle and using the smooth PEI plate. We will be working with nameplate caps, so go ahead and add a plate by pressing Add Plate and drag your nameplate cap onto that. I will drag the 1 millimeter nameplate STL onto this plate. Again, this is why we used an STL. We don't want to import a second project file. We are going to add this STL to this project. Now, let's talk about multicolor. I would like to print this model, my text, and this YouTube logo in different colors. That's 3 colors. So go ahead and add the number of filaments you need for your project. I need 3. I will press this plus button 2 times to now have a total of 3 filaments. I'm going to go blue for the model, gold for my text, and red for my YouTube logo. Go ahead and make sure you have those colors assigned appropriately to each model. Currently the text cap is 1 model. That's the logo and the text in 1 model. You will see I am unable to assign it different colors. We will need to separate this text from this logo. There are 2 ways to do this. Let's first talk about doing it on a single plate using an AMS. We will want to separate this logo from this text. To do that, right-click on the model and choose Split to Objects. Your model has now been split into 10 objects. That means we can assign this logo and these text letters to different colors. In order to make this easier for you, before splitting this to objects, set the letters to the color you want, then right-click and split to objects. Now the only object we need to deal with is this logo. However, we don't want to go ahead and simply turn this logo red. That will leave us doing constant color changes between the red and gold. Let's go ahead and print this without color changes, making the YouTube logo taller than the text. We can go ahead and do that now. Click on the model, click on Scale, uncheck Uniform Scale, and we are going to change the Z height. Do that by clicking here and type in 2 for 2 millimeters. Press Enter, and you will now see the YouTube logo is 2 millimeters, while the text is 1 millimeter. We will leave this YouTube logo gold and print only that additional top millimeter red. Let's get that done right now. We will click on the logo and we will enter the paint tool by clicking Color Painting. In here, we are going to switch to Height Range. This allows us to select a height range from 0 to X. We are going to type in 1 for 1 millimeter. Moving your mouse over here, you will see it's now showing us a 1 millimeter spacing that we can choose to paint our chosen color. Select red, hover over the model, and rather than try to line this up perfectly with the top, simply slide your mouse over to here, click on this, type in 1, and click the checkbox. The 2 millimeter model has been split and painted exactly at 1 millimeter. Return to the model and have a look at your 1 millimeter of gold followed by 1 millimeter of red. This will require only one filament change, which will be indicated in your preview as 2 filament changes, 1 for gold, 1 for red. You can confirm this by slicing the model and looking at your preview. Filament change time 2. Here you'll see it's able to print the whole thing together in gold, then swap to red and finish that model. But Mr. Rundown, what if I don't have an AMS? What if I want to print it separately and then glue it all together? Well, we can do that too. Go ahead and create a new bed and simply grab this YouTube logo and drag it onto the new bed. You will no longer need to print this YouTube logo in gold and red. You can simply select the logo and change the whole thing to red. And you now have 3 individual single color plates that you can print on any printer. Once you're ready, slice and dice your file and send it off to your printer. I am going to go ahead and use the multicolor version. I am going to use my P1S with an AMS to do the multicolor version. I changed my mind. I'm going to go with black. Slice and dice and send it off to your printer. Since we are printing something with a flat base, it might be a good idea to go ahead and do the bed leveling. Make your choice and send it off to your printer. Here it is on the Bambu Lab P1S on the smooth PEI plate. And here we are with the YouTube logo and the lettering. And here we have all the pieces. I am going to glue on the caps using E6000 and a dollar store paintbrush. Just going to put a little bit on. This stuff is super thick and grabs and sets really quick. So you'll have time to reposition, but it will hold strong enough to keep that position. And then I'm going to go ahead and paintbrush on the letters and stick it on. This is a bit of a pain in the ass. You might have a glue you like better, but I'm comfortable with E6000 and that's what I used. And here's what it looks like. It's Pretty darn nice. This is the back. I kind of like it. All right, here it is. Underneath, you will see the holes for the magnets are right there. I am going to use a Dollar Tree paintbrush and some E6000 and just stick some glue in those holes. I'm sure you can do this more neatly than me. I'm just going to jam it in there. Here are my magnets. I'm going to go ahead and stick them in the hole. Don't worry, this is E6000. You can use the blue cloth and some alcohol and it cleans up real nice. Do that before it cures. Also, looking underneath the model, you can see my hidden text. Great adventure. Super cool. Here is the upside down version. This doesn't have the magnet holes. So what you could do is use double-sided tape. Do keep in mind some of these double-sided tapes are permanent once they cure. I'm going to go ahead and just put a stick of double-sided tape right here underneath the lettering. All you do is stick it down and then peel the other side. Since this is the upside down version, we need to stick this beneath something. Check it out. This is my Flexi Spot desk. I'm gonna press the button and raise it up. Then I'll just go ahead and stick my double-sided tape upside down model to the bottom of the desk. Better yet, using the right side up version and the magnets, just go ahead and stick it to something metal. Raising up my Flexi Spot bed and stick it right on. Now you've got the right side up version with the magnets, the upside down version with the tape. Let's say you want something a little less permanent and something that offers flexible options. You can use something such as Velcro. This is industrial strength Velcro. You can get this from Walmart. Go ahead, cut a piece to a size that fits, peel it off, and stick it to the bottom of your nameplate. You can then take pieces of the opposite side and stick them in various places so you have options to move this logo about your office. I am lowering down my Flexi Spot desk and I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of Velcro and stick it right here on top of my Bambu Lab P1S. And now I've got a super cool logo on top of my Bambu Lab P1S that I can remove and place somewhere else at any time. Of course, the words don't match my lips, but that's okay. Things happen. And there it is. We have successfully created our 3D nameplate. This thing is super cool. I like it a lot. You can attach it to almost anywhere in your office, YouTube studio, makerspace, man cave, she shed, kitchen, you name it. I also made the upside down version. I don't like the upside down version as much as the right side up version, but that's for you to decide. Both of them do have uses, and I think this is a really cool one that creative people are going to find a lot of fun use for. You're on the 3D Rundown YouTube channel. I'm Great Adventure, your instructor across the internet on 3drundown.com, GroundlyRundown.com, BambuRundown.com, CureRundown.com, and making this 3D nameplate sign with your Bambu Lab printer in Maker Lab was today's adventure.